Hi there, friends. I'm Josh.
I'm Kim.
And this is Lemon Blossom Farms. Today, we'll cover everything from watering wisely, feeding with fish emulsion, mulching your garden, pest control, companion planting, and smart harvesting tips. We'll get into the what, when, how, and why with each of these steps, backed by science, expert advice, and personal experience from ourselves. Think of this as a one-on-one chat in your garden. Are you ready? Then grab a hat, some sunscreen, some bug spray, and your gardening tools, and let's dig into this.
First up, watering. In Zone 9A, summer heat and dryness can stress plants quickly, so we need to water deep and efficiently. This means applying enough water to wet the soil at least 6 inches deep. That's roughly an inch of water per week for most gardens. In practice, that means a good deep soak 1 to 3 times a week rather than just a light sprinkling with a watering can.
Here's a quick test. Poke your finger or a trowel or dig-it tool 2 to 3 inches into the soil. If it's bone dry, it's time to water. If it clumps mostly, you can wait a bit. The simple finger test is a gardener's best friend in summer. Now go ahead, check your own soil. How does it look? Always water early in the morning or late in the evening, not at midday. That way, plants get moisture before the heat of the day and foliage dries before nightfall. University of California and the Old Farmer's Almanac both agree morning watering means less evaporation and fewer fungal diseases. So wake up with the sun and hit those beds with some water. As Florida IFAS notes, deep watering less often encourages plants to grow deeper, healthier roots. Think of it like a vacation for roots. A good soak each week pushes roots down looking for moisture, making plants more drought resistant. If you water a little bit every day, roots stay shallow. We want depth, so I'm going to give each of my tomato and pepper plants a solid drink that penetrates way down deep into the soil. Use drip irrigation or soaker hoses whenever you can. Drip systems are ideal. They deliver water straight to the roots without wetting the leaves. I'm laying out this drip irrigation under the mulch so that only the soil gets soaked. If you don't have any drip lines, a water hose or a can set to trickle works just fine. Just be sure to move it slowly and around the base of each plant.
So how much water do we need? About 1 to 1.5 inches per week is a good rule of thumb to use. If we get rain, subtract that. If we're in a heat wave, you may need a little bit more. For containers, check even more often to make sure that the pots don't dry out faster than the beds. If the container's topsoil is dry, water it. Those roots are thirsty. Once we water, let's keep it by mulching. A 2 to 3 inch layer of mulch, such as straw, pine bark, compost, or wood mulch around your plants conserves soil, moisture, and keeps soil temperature steady. We are adding pine bark mulch to these beds. This reduces evaporation and prevents that soil from turning into a hard crust. It also cuts down on weeds, so more water goes to your veggie, not to pests. Pause and feel your mulch. Is it keeping moisture in? If you haven't mulched yet, grab a handful of straw or wood chips and lay it around your plants now. This small step can make a big difference in summer.
Next is feeding time. We're a big fan of fish fertilizers and fish emulsions. It's a liquid fertilizer made from fish byproducts. Think of it as giving your fish some garden fish food. It smells a bit fishy, but it packs a nutrient-dense punch. So what is fish emulsion or fish fertilizer? Well, examples like this, Neptune's Harvest here, which is not sponsored by the way, we do buy our own, is a leftover fish solid and oil liquid fertilizer. It's rich in nutrients, often with NPK around 242 or 241. Those variations, that can vary based upon which kind of brand you're getting and which kind of fertilizer you're getting. So pick the one that your garden needs. They also have lots of micronutrients like calcium, magnesium, and other trace elements. Because it has some protein and amino acids, it feeds the soil microbes, building a healthy soil food web. That means strong roots and balanced soil biology over an extended period of time.
Gardeners use it for quick growth. It dissolves fast in water, so it's readily available for plants. That's why it's great for veggies, especially leafy greens. When I pour this diluted mix at the soil, the nutrients are ready for my plants right away. The microbes break down the amino acids too and gradually release more nutrients. Let's mix it up. We are using a 2.5 gallon watering container, so that will take 2.5 ounces of fish fertilizer. So you're looking at 1 ounce of fish fertilizer or emulsion per gallon of water for most recipes. This covers about 25 square foot of garden space. Always shake that bottle up first. The concentrate will separate. We're going to water our plants at soil level with the solution. We want the roots to drink it up. Some people also use a foliar spray on the leaves, but science shows that often no more effective than a soil drench, so we'll stick to the base. Josh is wetting the entire root system zone. This is best done early in the morning, not in the midday sun. So how often are we going to do this? Fish fertilizer works quickly and needs reapplication more often than slow-release fertilizers. A good rule is every 2 weeks during active growth. Some gardeners even go once a week for an extra boost, but that's for more intense growing. We personally use it about every 2 weeks or when we see the plants kind of slowing down with their growth. For heavy feeders, like tomatoes and peppers, we will feed a week or two after transplanting, then at least every couple weeks after that. One word of caution, depending on what type and brand of fish emulsion or fertilizer you get, it may be high in nitrogen, so don't overdo it. Too much nitrogen can cause lush green leaves at the expense of fruit and even lead to blossom and rot on tomatoes. If you ever see burnt leaf edges or wilting after feeding, flush with plain water. Remember, it may be organic, but it's still potent.
In our hot, humid Zone 9A summer, extra care is crucial. Let's talk mulching, pest, and disease management and pruning. We've already mulched to save water, but mulch does much more. Texas A&M Extension highlights that mulching will increase yields, conserve moisture, prevent weeds, and regulate soil temperature. By shading the soil, mulch helps keep the roots cooler in scorching days and keep the roots warmer on cool nights. I'm using wood mulch, and then we also use compost around our plants. As it breaks down, it'll even feed the soil. With our container garden here, we especially want to make sure that we apply nice layers of mulch because container gardens are more susceptible to drying out. Warm weather means big pest pressure. With long growing seasons, pests like squash bugs, aphids, caterpillars, and ants multiply fast. I check my plants every day. If I see pests, I remove them by hand or use general controls. We suggest low toxicity methods. Think companion planting, diatomaceous earth, insecticidal soaps, or even ladybugs. Here, I'm applying some diatomaceous earth to these pepper plants. It's a safe and effective method for helping pest prevention. A light dusting is all you need on the leaves. You can even give it a little bit of a shake to make sure it settles down in everywhere.
Here's a tip. Avoid broad-spectrum pesticides that can kill beneficial insects as well. For example, pheromone traps or neem oil can control caterpillars without harming the pollinators.
For disease prevention, high humidity, like we have down here in 9A in southeast Georgia, really encourages things like fungus, powdery mildew, leaf spots, and the such. To combat this, don't water from overhead. Keep foliage dry, the leaves here, and space plants apart for good airflow and pruning to help encourage that same airflow. You can tell with these tomato plants, we like to space them far apart. A, that's to encourage the high growth, but B, that's to encourage good airflow in between those. We will come along and nip the bottom little suckers like this off of our plants. It helps air circulation around them. If you do spot a disease, remove that leaf immediately. Some gardeners use organic fungicides, like copper or baking soda sprays, as a last resort. Preventative action is best. As Texas advises, watch for diseases early and treat them before they begin to spread. Our tomatoes and also things like squash and zucchini plants are very susceptible to fungal infections such as powdery mildew. You're going to have a challenge if you live down in very humid climates. It's mid towards the end of April here, and we're already running 90-degree days with 90+% humidity. So those things like that are really going to be a taxing role on you maintaining and trying to control your fungal and disease infection in plants. So keep that in mind as you plant for when you're planting. Try to optimize your plant times. Weeds steal water and nutrients. Pull them while they're small or cultivate shallowly. Our Texas guide reminds us, use mulch to control weeds. A hoe when they're tiny. Here Kim's pulling a few grass weeds now. Every weed she removes lets the veggies have more and more space.
Trim any dead or yellowing leaves to keep plants vigorous. For vining veggies, like cucumbers and squash, you can train them up trellises to save space and improve airflow. In herbs, pinch back flowers, like on basil or mint, to encourage leafy growth. Just yesterday, I was pinching off basil blossoms and I got a new burst of leaf growth. Also, thin crowd seedlings early. This means less competition for water.
Take a moment and walk through your garden. Look under the leaves. Spot any pests. Remove or squish them gently. Check for holes or molds in leaves. If you see any, prune them off now. Your plants will thank you later.
A neat trick in our gardening toolbox is companion planting, growing certain plants together for mutual benefit. This isn't magic, but there's real science behind some pairings. The West Virginia University Extension explains companion planting as placing plants with known positive relationships within a few rows of each other and keeping antagonistic plants apart. Basil and tomatoes are famous garden buddies. Basil's scent repels thrips and other pests, and it can even enhance the tomato's flavor. They also use space efficiently together. Here we have a Three Sisters garden. This classic guild is a summertime favorite. Tall corn provides poles for beans, beans fix nitrogen for the corn, and squash spreads on the ground, shading the weeds. We have this one bed started with the corn, pole beans, and squash seedlings. By growing them together, they support each other naturally. Onions, garlic, and chive planted near tomatoes or carrots can repel aphids and mites. Here I have some onions planted interspersed with carrots, and they're growing really well together this year. Chives also around tomatoes attract pollinators and even repel aphids. Just don't plant onions too close to beans, they don't get along. Companion planting is a really awesome way to include herbs in your garden, and they also have benefits for pollinators and they help with pest control. So basil, like we have here, we talked about that one with tomatoes, but when it flowers, bumblebees love that one. Cilantro is also really good to kind of distract those pests away and help attract beneficial insects. And then we have some dill down here at the bottom. Dill also, when it flowers, is a very big pollinator attractor for butterflies and bumblebees.
Another great companion planting is marigolds. Now marigolds, when planted with things like peppers and tomatoes, have been shown by universities like UC Davis and University of Hawaii to decrease pest pressure such as root knot and nematodes by up to 50%. Now these can really help increase how healthy our plants are staying. So what we're going to do here is plant a few marigolds throughout. If you have raised beds, or if you plant in the ground, you can do the same thing. Plant a row of marigolds either in between or around the outside edges of your garden, and that'll help reduce pest pressure too. Let's dive in.
For companion planting, we like to mix in herbs and flowers. Marigolds, nasturtiums, and calendula all attract beneficial insects and can distract pests. We love planting things like marigolds, dill, cilantro for the pollinators too. These aren't fertilizers per se, but they can improve overall garden health. The University of Florida even suggests companion planting as a pest management strategy. Let us know what your favorite companion plants pairing are. Drop a comment down below and let us know, what are you planting by your tomatoes and peppers? Are there any herbs and flowers around them? Today is a good day to add a marigold or basil to a pepper plant for some extra protection. So let's talk harvesting tips or tricks. We want to make sure that we have some clean and super sharp gardening shears or gardening scissors. This will help minimize damage to the plant, and it will also help with disease prevention, so we're not passing things from plant to plant. So we want to make a sharp, clean cut just above where the stem and fruit connect so that we can make sure that we are getting maximal harvest and minimal damage to the plant. This also allows for cut and come again methods, and things like when we're harvesting green leafy vegetables like lettuces and kale, we want to start with the outer leaves and work our way into the inner leaves. We also want to harvest those first thing in the morning so that we can maximize moisture content in those. Whereas if we're looking at harvesting tomatoes, we still want to snip just above the fruit and stem line, but we want to make sure that we harvest in the middle of the day so all of that flavor and juices are kind of concentrated in the tomato. Okay, so this is our spring bed that we have right here. For right now, we have things like carrots and onions and peas wrapping up for spring. So we always want to be planning ahead to our next season. So for us, as we harvest these here in the near future, we're going to have bush beans going in this bed and then tie long beans along the trellis here. This is also a form of crop rotation, so we don't want to plant members of the exact same family into the same bed because we put them at higher risk for disease if we do that. It also can put them at risk for nutrient deficit. So by rotating those and changing out to a new crop, we are maximizing our yield and helping prevent those problems in our bed.
Take a look what you just picked. It's a nice harvest, isn't it? If you planned out what you're going to be putting in there next, you have some bare soil or maybe some empty containers. We've already planted the tomatoes here, but planning ahead for the future, we got some basil, and we also have some dill going for starts. Once those get big enough, we'll put them in here with the tomatoes, and then over with the bush beans and the tie long beans when we plant those. Always make sure you have something ready and planning for the next season.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from watering tricks and liquid fertilizers to mulching, pest control, companion plants, and harvesting strategies. Remember, consistency is key in hot summers. Keep the soil moist but not waterlogged, feed your plants when they need it, and stay vigilant about weeds and pests. A little extra effort means a bounty of veggies tomorrow. If you've enjoyed this video or you have found it useful, please remember to like and subscribe. For more science-backed gardening tips, check out your local ag extension resources. For some further reading, we have referenced several down below in the video description. Happy gardening and enjoy that summer harvest.